What's the most ridiculous thing that I ever believed in? Well, I wasn't too old when I went up to stay with my sister Violet up in Boise. And the kids were not too used to Mormons. And they had been told that Mormons had horns. And I knew I never had any, but they told me that I'd probably grow some because Mormons always have horns. And that was probably the craziest thing that I ever believed in, that someday I would grow horns, just like all Mormons do. I never grew up in a strong Mormon family. My mother was a member of the church. My dad never did join the church. He had some problems with, I think, probably the history of polygamy more than anything. Plus, we had a bishop that would swear at his cows, and my dad did not swear, and he did not like any swearing in the family at all. We had to be very careful. My brothers were not always careful, but because they'd like to say a swear word and get in trouble with Dad. But the bishop would swear at his cows, and Dad did not think that was right, that a bishop should do that. But he was very supportive when I decided at 12 I wanted to be baptized. He was very supportive, and he had nothing against most of the people in the church, just those that did not live the religion. And we went to, he was at my baptism, and after that he said, now that you're a member, I need to pay into the building fund and all the other things that the church wanted him to pay into at that time. And so he did that and supported me all the way. Any program or anything I was in at the church, he was there supporting me. My mother always had faith. She grew up in a very strong LDS family, my grandma Rice. Mom was the only one that had not gone through the temple out of grandma's children. And she was always supportive, but it was easier for her to stay home with Dad than to cause any problems taking us to church. The first 5 children she used to take to church, and they were all blessed. Our last 4 were never taken to church. It's funny because the last 4, 3 of them ended up joining the church when they were adults. Well, they were adults. I was 12 when I joined. And I always knew, somehow I always knew that there was a God. I mean, I'd look around and I'd see the beautiful world and all the different creations, and this fish could live in this salt water, that fish could not live in that salt water. The deer could live in the forest, and they couldn't live in the desert, and it just all made sense to me. There had to be a creator for this world. There had to be something more than a big bang, as they were trying to teach people that was it. No, there had to be more. And so it was easy for me to have faith. And it was easy for me to join the church because my grandma Rice was such a good example. And I had to know that it had to be true. And I didn't question it. Never questioned. I know there's lots of questions that people wonder about, but I knew that it was true.